My statement today will be very brief, Mr. President, because the message that I wish to convey is clear, unequivocal, and makes no bones about its content. As we've said in many international fora over the decades, I now wish to again reject the fact that Colombia firmly rejects the economic, financial, and commercial embargo imposed unjustly upon Cuba by the United States of America. For the vast majority of the member states of this General Assembly, it's clear that unilateral coercive measures run counter to international law and directly undermine the rights of the Cuban people, imperiling their well-being, affecting all of the economic sectors of the country, and stopping the economy and the people from interacting directly with the international community. We adopted the Pact for the Future only a few weeks ago. All members of the United Nations in that pact reiterated our commitment at the highest level to lend decisive momentum to the implementation of Agenda 2030 and its Sustainable Development Goals. However, there is a contradiction here. The blockade against Cuba directly interferes with that process insofar as the consequences that it has will not allow the Cuban people to achieve these goals, nor make progress with the implementation of the Pact for the Future. Mr. President, the unilateral inclusion of Cuba on the list of sponsors of terrorism is also unjust and unacceptable. Colombia knows firsthand that far from supporting terrorism, Cuba has worked tirelessly supporting the search for peace and the resolution of armed conflict in my country. Everyone is well aware that Cuba was key in achieving the peace agreement of 2016. The government of Colombia and the FARC-EP guerrilla. Everyone knows that after the Havana agreements were signed, Cuba was the guarantor country. Cuba played a key role in implementing the first phase of those peace agreements, particularly when it came to disarmament, demobilization, and the reintegration of former combatants. Yet still today, Cuba continues to be key in implementing a total peace in Colombia and is working actively to steer additional negotiations with other armed groups in Colombia. For this reason, once again, we speak out loud and clear to call for Cuba's withdrawal from that ignominious list. We support the Cuban people in their appeal for these measures to end. They run counter to the core principles of international law as well as to the letter and spirit of the United Nations Charter. The government of change of President Gustavo Petro hopes that the day is near where the vast majority of the member states of this organization will finally have their wish granted. Thank you.
I thank the representative of Colombia. I now give the floor to the representative of the
We will listen to more statements at the UN General Assembly as nations continue to condemn the U.S. blockade against Cuba and call for immediate lifting and the removal of Cuba from the list of states that allegedly sponsor terrorism. We'll be right back with other statements in a few minutes.